Look at this thing. Oh.
Today's video, I want to show you like a handful of orbs. It's mainly going to be honing in on these orbs, plus a few extra clips which I thought were interesting. But if you cast your mind back to a video I did a few days back, I mentioned about how much history New Jersey has regarding UFOs. One of which was a location called the Wanaque Reservoir. All right, I actually mentioned it again on my previous video, and somebody over on X tagged me in on this. Mark Watts, thank you so much. I want you to, first of all, before we go into the video clips, take a listen to this TikToker who's talking about the Wanaque Reservoir UFO incident, because we've spoken briefly on, well, in fact, my last video talks about the interdimensional theory of these orbs coming in and out of our dimension. And also, a lot of people are talking about these orbs which are almost shape-shifting. Now, I'm yet to see an orb shape-shift into something, like from start to finish. I've seen the orbs split into numerous other orbs and doing strange things, going up to drones, making drones fall out of the sky, doing strange things, and obviously rapidly disappearing and things. But take a listen to this, and then we're going to go into a more deep dive into these orbs, a close look. All right, take a listen. First of all, I want to recommend going over to this TikToker because his account looks absolutely phenomenal. The account name is I'm Alive and Kicking. Make sure you go and check him out, and also just tag, say, Casper says hello, and like, well done, right? This guy's onto something. Listen.
Hey friends, time for another New Jersey UFO update. So this one is super crazy. You're going to want to watch this whole video. So what is it about New Jersey? Why is all this crazy stuff happening in New Jersey? Well, apparently this is not new. This has been going on for a long time there, especially around a place called Wanaque Reservoir, where there is something called the Wanaque Vortex. And back in the day...
Sorry, Wanaque, not Wanaque.
There was something called the Wanaque Wonder. So I got a very mysterious message yesterday saying, look into the Wanaque Vortex. And that was it. And they didn't respond whenever I replied. So I was like, okay, I love mysterious messages. So I dove in. So Wanaque, New Jersey, is right here. And it's right next to the Picatinny Arsenal, which is sort of like the epicenter and the hotspot where all this stuff kind of originated, right? This whole drone UFO, fiasco going on up in Jersey. So it's like, okay, what is going on here? Why this area? Because this seems to really be the epicenter. I mean, there's crazy things happening all over the world, of course, but there's something about Jersey. So what is it? So going back to the 60s, there was a big UFO flap there, and there was like all these crazy stories. I mean, I dove in, there's a bunch of newspaper articles, a lot of like kind of investigative journalists back in the day did a lot of digging, and there was a bunch of different UFO sightings. A famous one by this Sheriff Cisco. There was this famous photograph taken by this guy, and all these people saw UFOs, and the way they described them is very reminiscent of what we're seeing now. They'd be like different kind of lights in the sky, like individual lights, like orbs, that would sometimes come together and form helicopters, right? They would mimic our aircraft. Exact same thing that's going on now. This was 60 years ago. And that's where this Wanaque Wonder came from. So many different people saw these UFOs over the Wanaque Reservoir that they even named them the Wanaque Wonder. And like, it was seen by hundreds of people. I mean, this was like an ongoing thing. One time they described the reservoir being frozen over, and there was like a fire over it, and it was melting a hole in the ice, and that the craft was like the saucer-shaped craft that kept like turning into like an orange glowing like orb, right? All this stuff is wild, but it's very familiar, very similar to the stuff we're hearing now, but it gets way stranger. So a Dr. Bruce Cornett got wind of all this crazy stuff. One of his friends told him about the Wanaque Vortex, and he was very interested in the paranormal and stuff, and he was a researcher, and he set up some like camping expeditions out there, and they took a lot of camera equipment, lights, and that kind of stuff, and they went out to the Wanaque Reservoir to investigate this vortex, right? And these are just some of the pictures that he got. So in this picture, that is Dr. Bruce Cornett, right? That's not. There was nobody there. So at first you could say, okay, well, it was just a, kind of double exposure or something, right? That happens. Well, if you actually look at it, the pose is a little different, the stance is a little different, the lighting's a little different, right? And then there's like, they put this crystal here, and the crystal's stationary, just like he is, okay? And this crystal, see the line behind it, right? Well, it wasn't moving. See, he's not moving, and nothing else is moving, but this did that. And they said every time they took pictures of the crystal, it would do that. There's a lot of different pictures of it. So then they started blowing smoke in the air and doing these light flashes and taking pictures and seeing if they could see anything. And they kept seeing these lion figures in the smoke. I thought that was super cool. And then there's this picture. So in this picture, it looks like there's a group of people here, and they're like kind of looking at another group of people over here. But these people aren't there. There's no people there. It was only these people. So that was interesting. And then in this photo, he says that this is him. That's Dr. Corset, that this wasn't there. Like there's no one there, right? So it's like another kind of double exposure. But when you really look at it, like there's things that are slightly different. Like his arm is slightly different and his socks are showing here and they're not here. So it's like it's mimicking him, but it's not him. It's really strange, and it gets stranger. Look at this one. So in this picture, that's him. That's Dr. Corset, and someone's taking his picture. He was there with a group of people, right? And this, right next to him, this is the same photograph. They went and got him developed, and there shouldn't be anybody here, right? There should be nothing there. But when you actually look at this, it's like mimicking him, okay? It's not a double exposure. The pants are a different color. The shirt's different. There's like a bulge in the belly when there's not here. The lighting and the shadows are different. He zooms into the head and does some effects to it to try to figure it out. And like, it's just completely different, right? But it's similar, very similar, but different. It's mimicking. But it's not just a double exposure. You can tell a double exposure would just be this image right here. But it's different, significantly different. You know, you can look at it. The more you look at it, the more things you notice that are different. So that's very telling, because what are we seeing? So he even says possible hologram projection of ET, humorous ET attempted mimicry, right? What have we been hearing out of Jersey? That there's things mimicking airplanes and helicopters. I've talked to multiple people, and they'll tell me, they're like, dude, I know in the photos and the videos it looks like an airplane, but trust me, when you're here, you'll see an orb turn into a helicopter or turn into an airplane. It's only 100 feet in the air. It sounds like an airplane. It looks like one, but it's like 3 or 4 feet. Like, it's crazy. Like, it doesn't make any sense, and it's like really messing with people. And people keep using the word mimicking, saying that these things are mimicking, you know, our planes and our jets and helicopters and stuff. Well, this guy back in the 90s, when he went there to investigate in New Jersey at the Wanaque Reservoir, the Wanaque Vortex in New Jersey, the epicenter of all this strangeness, he, back then, over 20 years ago, was saying these things were mimicking him.
So this goes back to something that I said like last week, where, you know, if we went to another planet and we were observing alien life to us, we probably wouldn't want to go there in our own tech, because we'll be seen, spotted, you know, we could scare these beings. We would probably want to go there looking like their tech, right? So it's quite interesting. I don't think that the drones that we're seeing over the east coast of the United States, because it's no longer now just New Jersey, it's spreading. I don't think those drones are necessarily what he's talking about here. I don't think the drones are, you know, a mimic of our tech. I do think that there's a possibility of these orbs potentially doing that. I would love to see an orb transforming in real time into a drone or a plane or something like that. I'm not ruling out the idea that these orbs could do that, because we've seen these orbs split, you know, drop other orbs, almost like a mothership. I think these two things are too separate. I think there's drones, which potentially are ours, and then there's orbs, which we yet to understand exactly what they are. We're going to look into some orb footage now, which is quite amazing. I gotta be honest, it's quite amazing. Now, I remember when we got the first video footage of somebody with a DLSR camera and took a photo, and it was amazing. It looked really cool, but a lot of people were saying that's just when a camera can't focus in on a light. And I gotta be honest with you, knowing a little bit about, you know, photography, I can see their point. I can see what happens. I've seen it before when I've taken, you know, my own photos. You've probably seen it on your mobile phone when you can't quite focus and you get this like blur effect. However, it seems like the more this goes on, the more that we've sort of debunked that idea. Can you remember a while ago that I showed you about that woman who was almost talking to this orb, and it did a wave effect when she says, "Oh, you know Jesus." So I look back on her account, and she's actually got the long version, and I think this version is even more crazy than what we showed you originally. Okay, take a listen to this. This gets really, really, look at that.
I mean, I've never seen anything like that before. Look at this, Joe.
In a second, you're going to see what I find confusing is straight, sharp lines in this. In a minute. Watch.
What is that, man? What the fuck is that? Can I focus or zoom or unfocus
so
it?
Zoom in out, zoom back in.
It? I mean, it's just... I don't... What is that shape? I mean, is it a fucking...
And I'm going to show you in a minute
Zoom out a little bit.
some other footage.
It looks like
even crazier than this.
I don't know what it looks like.
But look at these sharp lines. Look at these sharp lines. What is all this about? Now, when you focus or can't focus on something, you get a general blur, right? A symmetrical blur. Not these things. You don't get this.
Doesn't even make sense.
And look at these striations here.
Hell?
Like, what? Look at this. Do you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of certain crop circles that you find, right? In fields.
It had that line across it. Was like the power line or something, but it's not. Well, oh yeah, maybe it is. No, it's not.
No, it's not, she says. Look.
Maybe because it's freaking... It's almost out of view. Look at this, Joe. Oh,
something went over there, look. Something went past it. Right here.
Maybe because it's freaking... It's almost out of view. Look at this.
What the hell?
Look at this, Joe. Look at this, Joe. Look at this, Joe. Look at...
What is that? What is that? It's just flown past it.
Look at this, Joe. Oh, something moved in front of it just now. But look, watch. Watch. What is that? No, it's not. That's not the point. And look at the shape. What is it? Look, it's turning. It looks like it's turning. Look, there's something over here on the side now that wasn't there before.
Like, that's just so crazy. And mate, I'm showing you now something which sees that and raises it, right? Watch this. Shout out to Red Hotted for this, mate. Congratulations. You've done a great video. Now, right there, you're thinking, oh, that's, just not being able to focus. This is the things that we've been seeing a lot. And a lot of speculation like, oh, that's just out of focus. Haha. No, wait. This is what's convinced me.
Look at that.
Look. It's out of focus, Ben. No, it's not. Watch.
That is incredible.
This gets trippy. Now you can start seeing it morphing around inside, right? It's out of focus, Ben. It's not.
It is
Watch.
some
Here we go.
kind of an orb. I see the electricity. This is nuts.
The same thing that's happening from her camera. Look at this. Look at the colors. It gets better. I'm telling you, it gets better. You can't tell me that's out of focus. Okay, it's not... I mean, it's not clear cut 4K, right? But you can clearly see that something's going on in there. Look, I know, mate.
What's with the colors?
I know, mate. What on the Xbox is going on here, man? Look at... Mate! This is an invasion of the watermelon orbs.
Look at that. Look at that.
It'd be interesting to see if this correlates in any way to, look.
This is plain fucking spooky shit.
You love that. I'm wondering if this correlates to, you know, when you, what's it called when you get shapes from sound?
Wow, look at this shit.
You know, when you get patterns from sound waves. I wonder if it's got something to do with that. Because these things are just too... They're too symmetrical. They're look at this, man.
Look at that.
And then it just goes. And then it just disappears. Which there reminds me of that video that I did a while ago about the grey, like, X, the Xbox bloody shape. Somatics. Vibrations form patterns in sand and other similar materials, right? I wonder if it's got something to do with that, with some sort of resonating. I mean, look at... hang on a second. Seeing this pattern in sound, what is that? This seems very... These things, when we talk about spirituality and stuff, we talk generally. I say we, right? This is something I'm sort of delving into, spirituality and things like that. And there's a lot of talk about vibration, about being on a particular vibration, not listening to certain music which is on a certain wavelength, certain vibration. I think it'd be important. It'd be a good idea for somebody who's, like, you know, really understands about sound to look into these orbs and try to work out some sort of, like, what vibration it is that they're on. Mate, imagine that. Okay, right. Talking about sound that I want to show you. This, right, I gotta admit, this seems a little bit far-fetched, but it doesn't look like CGI. It doesn't look like AI creation. You know, it's making the rounds. It's really interesting, and there's a particular sound with this. Now, we know that these orbs and stuff don't break the sound barrier or anything like that, but take a listen and take a look at this. Right, let's just break this down. If we zoom in, we're seeing two orb-like things here, which disappear. 2 orbs. Sorry, got my bloody cursor in front of you. Right, there's 2 orbs, clearly. Then we hear 2 bangs. But we hear 2 bangs before these things have disappeared. I thought, is this some sort of firework or something like that? Right? We hear the 2 bangs before they disappeared. Then the craziest thing happens is the cloud forms into some sort of plane of some sort. Right? And then another orb starts to appear. Is this what we were talking about earlier, where is this the beginning of a manifestation into something, right? Because this is such a magic trick. This smoke comes out of those. It looks like this smoke comes out of those orbs. Look, it's actually like blowing it out of these orbs. Look, watch here and here. So it's creating smoke. I think this is like a flare, and hence why it's blowing something out of it. And then due to, so it's then disappearing. You're hearing the bang, and then what's happening? You're getting a secondary chemical reaction, right? Because of maybe a condensed smoke with the chemicals and fumes in it, and it's relighting again. Now, that was me breaking it down in real time, because I got to admit, at first when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's a New Jersey orb, right? But now looking at it, I'm thinking that might be a flare, especially because of the color of it. Anyway, let's move on. Is the drone pointing a powerful laser into space? Possible unknown drone pointing a powerful laser into space in New Jersey, December 19th, 2024.
Powerful laser into space? What's happening? Where is the government?
No, hang on a second. That light beam isn't coming from that, I don't think. Because if you look here, it misses it slightly. There. It misses it. That's coming from the ground. Now it's hitting it. Is this somebody that is pointing some sort of laser at a blimp in the sky?
Pointing.
I'm not too sure about that one. Again, I'm debunking these as I go. I you know, what I tend to do is I look at the things that people have tagged me on. I find it visually impressive. It's like, wow, okay, I'm going to save that. I'm looking into it. That's me looking into it. I'm not too sure. I was going to say it'd be interesting to see what tempo that light is. Is it anybody that knows Morse code? Anybody knows Morse code? Is that saying something? Now, I know that previously I've had a little bit of hate by saying that, as if a super intelligent race would use Morse code. Well, my argument is, why wouldn't they? If they're trying to communicate with us, they would use a language, right, that we're familiar with, Morse code. Like, you know, either speech or Morse code, something that we know. They ain't going to talk to us in their language when they know that we don't understand what they're talking about. So, you know, that's my argument. Okay, let's go back to looking deep into these orbs again. This gentleman here has changed his view on what these orbs are, because he's done some sort of like deep analysis on video footage of an orb. Thanks, Shorty, as well, for sending me this over, mate. I would like to, I think, is it Pro Pixel Imaging and UPA Research? This is the channel, okay? So make sure you go and give them a follow and a well done. Take a little look at this.
I'm shooting an addendum video for the analysis that I did yesterday on the orb over Atlantic City. As soon as I posted it, there were a number of comments from you guys that said cube and a sphere, looks like a cube, cube, cube. So I'm looking at this with a different pair of eyes now. And I think I agree with everybody that's been
So people are saying there's a cube within a sphere here.
saying that. So, just looking at the image that was brought out in the best fidelity, you can see, I see a cube-like object. I do see it. All right. I do see it. And if we look to the video, that's from that shot. I do see a very cubic-like image. That's messy. And this one just these two clips just don't have enough data in it. This one, what's nice about this is it wasn't overexposed, so you don't get so much halo that you can't see exactly what's going on. Let's just let this play. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I'm changing the assessment. I think this is a cube in a sphere. All right, that's why I love this crowdsourcing stuff. You put information out there, people can look at it and tell you they think you're wrong or suggest other things. Yeah, so I think it's a cube in a sphere at this point. So that's the adjustment I'm making. Thanks for the feedback. I think this is awesome. That's why we're doing this. And yeah, let's see what else we get.
Every time I go outside now, I see brightish stars or brightish things in the sky. I'm like, oh, what's that? Is that an orb? Is that a drone? Let me take a picture. And I did. I took a picture. And it's so strange I saw this because I zoomed in and I saw this. That's what I zoomed in. And I saw that one, two. I took some pictures, right? Took 4 pictures. Now, oh, sorry. Now, that also looks like a cube, right? It looks like a cube. This was 4 photos that I took. I tried to take video footage, and it was terrible because it was so small but bright. And then, because I was out there for quite some time, I watched it. And over a certain amount of time, it just moved. It was a satellite. I think it was a bright satellite. Is this the phone making out what it's trying to do? And that's what generally like a phone does to try to create the image because it's zooming in so much. So I'm not too sure. And also where it sort of flickers. At some point, you're going to see a cube. But like right now, you can say, "Oh, that looks like a disc." Yeah. If you pause it again, now that looks like something else. But it's just like it's all over the shop.
You know what?
But at certain points, it looks like a cube.
Yeah.
Like this looks like a sphere within a sphere with a hole in the middle of it. I don't know. I just think. Out of the sheer amount of time, it mainly looks like a cube. So you just think, oh, it's a cube in there, right? I don't know. Maybe if you recorded that half an hour later, it could be wobbling about a lot. It might look like a sphere within a sphere. It could be like a triangle within. It just so happens that recording it at that particular point looks like a square.
I'm changing the assessment. I think this is a
it's a great analysis. But that's just my opinion. I could be totally wrong. I really didn't intentionally start this video to be like debunking this sort of stuff. I can't leave you on debunking 3 videos, all right? Look at these 2 orbs. Look at this. These orbs are up to something. I don't know what they are. Is it to do with the Wanaque Reservoir? Are they interdimensional? Are they morphing into something? Are they morphing into these drones? What do you reckon? Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.